On this episode of James Squared, we will talk about the Angels and the Dodgers, the Freeway Series. Shohei Ohtani coming back. We'll also get into Taylor Ward. Does he love the month of September? You bet he does. And we'll get into a little more about Christian Moore, if he should come back or not, and other topics on this episode of James Squared.
Hey, you are now listening or watching the Halos in the Infield podcast, sponsored in part by Noble L Works over on 1621 South Sinclair, where you can get discounts by just mentioning HITI, Halos in the Infield, drink discounts on us, baby. And also by 714 Tickets, 714 Tickets. The price you see is the price you get, and you also get 10% additionally off in the Apply Now code once you order your tickets just by mentioning HITI, Halos in the Infield. Now enjoy the show.
I know you just heard that voice, but we have an honorary James here for the 28th episode of James Squared. It is none other than Todd Fox. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good, James. Good to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Milu had his DJ thing going, so he's unable to get here. But
ones and twos, huh?
Hitting buttons, probably. You know how easy it is. Well, we all know. No, but I'm serious. Like, there's no more scratching. There's nothing like that. You just hit a button, and it makes a sound, right? So anyway, okay. So we'll get to our sponsors right here. We gotta also mention to follow, subscribe, and comment on all the Halos in the Infield programs that will come up here. Of course, there's Cup of Joe. You got the Lone Star Halo podcast going down during the week. James Squared here. And never forget the Todd Fox post-game show after all the games. Even the one we had tonight. There was a post-game show, and it was short for a reason.
Yeah, it was very short for that football reason, but go ahead.
No, plus the Angels didn't even show up. Also, give a shout-out to Believe Network, of course, Believe.com. That's where you'll find the podcast form of all the shows. And also shout us out, of course, on social media, on X. Fernando does a great job with his questions of the days. School time has come up, and we're doing grades on the players, on the broadcasters, on the managers, and the management. I think we all know what we'll give Artie at the time that comes up.
A++.
Hong Kong. Just follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and as well as on X. Again, shout out to Nando about that. Go to Noble L Works. Park there for the game and walk into Angel Stadium. About, a 10-minute good walk back and forth. You can park there for free and mention Halos in the Infield for a drink discount. Drinks on us, like Todd mentions. And also, go to 714 Tickets. You don't have to sing the jingle.
Damn it.
You can if you want. That was Milu's thing.
Oh, okay.
Go.
714 Tickets. 714 Tickets.
I forgot you do it like Todd Lodge would.
Yes.
So it sounds
absolutely
way different, which is haunting. Put in HITI in the checkout there for 10% off your tickets. There's a rewards program. Every time you buy with 714 Tickets, you get rewarded with a discount after too. So you use either or, and it comes in handy when you have to buy 7 tickets like I did on Saturday. You get a discount off of that. So it's a really great thing. And also go to Mezzo Calzones also for discount. Mentioned Halos in the Infield and get 50% off, right, Todd?
15% off, yeah.
15% off. I almost said 50. But yeah, try the wings there. They'll burn your mouth and it'll feel good. Check out the calzones there. I've been seeing a lot of Instagram folks going to Mezzo and doing a quick food review. So maybe I should do that, do a solo one or whatever like they've been doing. Of course, we've done lives there. and by Bet Online. So Bet Online is your number one source for all the games this year: WNBA, MLB, and of course, pro football, college football just starting up. So every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. And then when the games are over, head on to our online casino and get in a game of blackjack, poker, or unwind with our one of our 150 slot games. Head over to the website today to get in on the action, but don't forget to put in the code BELIEVE, all in caps, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. So, I want to say yeah, we did the Detroit series the last episode, and I guess we'll talk about the Seattle series. Now, it didn't start off so well. That was, of course, the Apple TV game. The Angels lost 9-5. I believe you were there, right, Todd?
Yes, I was there Friday and Saturday.
Now, everything you've heard about the pitcher, Alder Jury, what do you think about his performance? Like, what did you like? What did you not like? I should say.
I think positives was, the floodgates opening up. He had the 5-run first inning, but he settled down, and he was, I guess, how they've been trying to do as an organization, very much focus in on not dicking around the strike zone. And I felt he was very aggressive, and he really put his heart out there. You could tell he wanted to show off for his family. Very emotional for him. The kid took pictures with his family afterwards, and crying a little bit. Obviously,
Really?
yeah, he they had him on camera taking photos, and his family came on the field. He was crying, and they. Of course, Bally's was like, "Hey, did you know he was the first born Italian player to come over from Italy and not be born here?" So they were, they were chalking it up big time. But I felt he had some good stuff, and we'll see how he performs moving forward. Making his major league debut. I'm glad he did it with us and not Philly. So we'll see what he can do later on. I know he's probably going to get another start or two down the stretch. So, but I like what I saw from him.
Yeah, Samuel Algeziri, Verona, Italy, was born in 2001. Yikes.
How old do you feel now?
Very. And he fits in well, as a lefty. In the can't have enough of those. But yeah, look at his line. He lasted 5 innings, which I didn't think would happen. But the 6 hits, the seven runs, 6 hits, 7 earned runs. He had the 2 walks, and I believe the 3 strikeouts there. The rest of the bullpen came in, but yeah, the damage was already done. The Mariners, you couldn't really hold them down for too long. Mitch Garver doubled, Rojas singled. You had Taylor Ward hitting another home run. Julio Rodriguez responded right back. Moniak hit another. Drury actually hit a home run. I know you were mentioning that to me, like that never happens. And then also you had a single, RBI single to make it 7-5, and then the Mariners after the 7 just took off. So that was a really interesting game. But Saturday, of course, we were there. Stopped by Mezzo first, and then came into the game. It was good to see all the folks there that we did. Had some great seats, thanks to you, of course. But this game, man, it was such a back and forth game. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it felt like a playoff game. Nothing ever will ever again. But not in our lifetimes. But
Go ahead.
I hope I'm wrong. But to start off though, Justin Turner hit that home run to make it 1-0 in the top of the second. Then in the bottom of the third, Joe Adele hit his 19th home run to make it 1-1. Then Justin Turner hit his second home run to make it 2-1. Then Julio Rodriguez had that single to bring home a couple of runs to make it 4-1, and he thought, man, the game's over. There's no way. Bottom of the sixth, Joe Adele hit his second home run of the game, and it made it 4-2. And that one, and I hate to talk about launch angle and distance or whatever, but I literally was watching the flight of that ball. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it went over the roof Well, I mean the projection of it went over the roof and down into the to the crowd there, down that left field line. That was amazing. I gotta be honest with you.
Yeah,
And then
that one was.
Mickey,
Oh, I was just gonna say that one was like literally on a line. I mean,
yeah,
he connected with that. There was that one is one of the rare times where I'm actually interested at the exit velocity.
okay. I was
Other
more.
most times I'm like, Gooby, shut up. But when he hit that one, I'm like, yeah, how fast did that one go out of here?
And I was, like I said, I was amazed at that because I haven't seen one like that in maybe a while, maybe since Vladdy or something. But what was it bottom of the seventh? Mickey Moniak tied the game with his second, or with his first home run of the game for him to tie it at 4. And again, he likes that middle end pitch, and it would come down to the bottom of the ninth with Munoz coming in, and he left one, middle but kind of low but in. And Moniak, you could just tell anything middle in, he likes it. That's his wheelhouse. And he had the walk-off home run there to make it 5-4. Of course, with the Angels winning. But 3 players had 2 home runs in the game. I don't think I've ever seen that. We also saw a ball thrown into an umpire at second base where Drury should have been covering. He was like playing with his nutsack or something. He didn't cover, and the second base umpire got hit with the ball in the midsection or something.
Well, it was a double. It was a double play on the umpire because he got nailed in the side, and then Drury's so late he just bull rushes him over, like knocks him over like a football player.
and in that incident, that's where Zach Neto, who took himself or told Ron Washington, like, "Hey, I shouldn't be in the game right now. I'm costing the team." I remember sending you the article, or no, the X post by Sam Blum saying the reason Neto left, he was just not feeling it that night. And him and Wash have a certain relationship as former infielders where, he'll tell Wash, like, hey, I don't have it right now. I need to leave the game. Maybe it's a new school mentality, but on that play, maybe Neto should have been there, but Drew was closer to the back. And also, we saw a botched what was it? A suicide squeeze.
Terrible.
I mean, I'm still trying to like. We'll put into the blooper reel for Heedy for 2024, but it was Jack Lopez, right? He was trying to bunt from the left side of the plate. Ward came, the bunt rolled back from a few inches, rolled back to Cal Raleigh, right on home plate. All he had to do was tag Ward. Now Lopez didn't even leave yet. He's trying to avoid everybody. He hops over Raleigh, but the throw was already made to first, and you thought, well, they're just going to lose now. But the hero, of course, was Moniak. And for all the, and same thing with Adele here, where they don't hit for average, but they have these clutch moments with these home runs, whatever the case is. They clutch up. They have some power, and they do it at clutch times, but you just wish it was more consistent. But Saturday's game, that was just a whirlwind of things. I don't know if you have anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on most of the points. I thought the bullpen, though, did a great job again. Ben Joyce got out of that jam he kind of got himself into, and then had the real, real big celebration after getting the strikeout. So he was phenomenal to see again. And then, of course, he got the win. But going back to that bunt, though, it was sort of like a lean lunge forward, like I'm going to miss it. Like Lopez didn't need to do that. And because he did that, he was so far over the ball, he barely tipped it, and it went so like it had a backspin to it. So he put the backspin on it by the poor bunt. And then you have the slowest runner on the team, like the laziest guy, and he's out by a country mile. And then Lopez forgets to run to first. So it was just a cluster, of just, wow, this is the Angels season in a nutshell. And you thought it was over. And then Moniak, gave us that surprise because all of us didn't want to go to extra innings. We were all like, man, we go to extra innings, we're going to lose. And when he hit that home run, I think for a brief moment, so we got outside with the fireworks, James, it did feel like a playoff game. It felt like we won a huge game.
I can't ever remember for a long time. I can't remember ever like jumping out of my seat and jumping around. As you know how tiring that is for me. Um, but that was yeah, and it was just funny. I was telling the guy next to me, Renee. I was like, you know what? Even though he's down 1-2 in the count, I have a good feeling about it because Andres Munoz, he'll leave the ball like middle in, and that's where Moniak loves to have it. I was like, you know what? I have a good feeling about this. If he could drive one, he already hit a home run. I was having that Gooby instinct or that Wayne Rendazzo instinct. It was like, hey, he hit one earlier. He can hit one now.
Yeah, you were
But I was
calling.
just, but I was just based on like just what I've seen from Munoz because he gave up the game the week before against in LA against the Dodgers. He's had a history, and that maybe is the Achilles heel to the Mariners, where the Angels, strike them again. Where remember, I think it was last year they costed the Mariners a playoff spot that last weekend because the
Yeah.
Angels went down up there and spoiled things. So it's just funny how the Angels do that sometimes to Seattle. But Joyce got his second win. We move on to the Sunday game, and it was all about Caden Dana. 20 years old coming up. That was his first career start, and he got the win. He became the youngest pitcher in Angel history since Frank Tanana in '73 to get his first win on his major league debut. He went 6 innings, 2 runs allowed only. 20 years old, like I mentioned. It was really good stuff. I know he was wild sometimes. He did have a big strikeout. He did get out of a big inning. I know there were some walks there, I believe 4. But you expect some butterflies and a pretty tough lineup to face with the Mariners. But yeah, only 2 hits given up, 2 runs, the 4 walks, but 4 strikeouts. So, at least he got the win. Joyce got a save, got his 4th save. And, the surprising thing I heard almost 40,000 came out. Well, half of, or 39,370. But it was a fun-filled weekend, definitely. And, to see Caden Dana pitch out there, number 36, I think the older fans like us thought, hey, that looks a little familiar with
Yeah.
the hair and with the body shape and number 36. I look a little like Jarrett Weaver a little bit, but not as fast with the fastball. And I was listening to some of the game, and they mentioned like, okay, I don't know what it was, but he doesn't have a cutter, but it kept showing up on the board. The pitch tracks couldn't, track the accurate pitch. So next time he starts, we'll see if if they say it's a cutter, but it was getting the Mariners out. So, what do you think of Dana's performance and the Angels overall this weekend?
Between his and Davis Daniels' first start of the season, you could see some promise. There's a couple other pitchers that are in the major league system down there in the minor league system for the Angels that are making their push. And, we didn't think, I checked that. We thought Dana would be up. But, we were dreading it, and, they put him to the fire and he responded. So, I like the fact he came out there against a team that's been scuffling a little bit, that doesn't have the strongest of lineups, but they can hit when they can hit. And when they're on, and Dana handled them pretty good. So I'm very interested to see. I think he pitches here against Texas, so I'm hoping that he has the same results. And I think he's got the moxie. He's not one of these guys that he wants to go back down. I think he wants to succeed with the Sorianos, with the Ben Joyces, with the Netos and Shauna Wells and everyone else that's been coming up. I think he wants to be part of that wave. So I think with that kind of friendly competition and the want to stay up here, I think he's going to get himself a nice little crack at the rotation next year after spring training.
And it was just weird because I don't think other franchises do this with their farm system, with their number 1 prospects, where they skip AAA and say, hey, I think you're ready to help the major leagues now. Out of desperation, mostly, I think. Not of just quality over quantity or, talent. This is just like, hey, the best are down there at AAA or Double A. Triple A, it just seems there's a bunch of, not veterans, but they're like 5, 6, 7 years in and journeymen that'll
Mhm.
probably never reach their potential. And it's kind of sad. When I think of Triple A, I think of guys that are ready to go. Like you could call them up in an instinct. You
Used to
have
be.
I guess that's what I'm thinking. You got a guy like LeBlanc playing third base. Charles LeBlanc, he means nothing, and he was one of those AAA guys. So the Angels had Monday off, but Tuesday came, and ugh, it was that time you got to disinfect the stadium after both days. But the Dodgers came to town, and number 17 came to town, and there was talk about, hey, there's no tribute video. Let's bring it back to the exhibition series that was the Freeway Series at the Big A. I believe there was one game there, and they did a tribute video, but it was before the Otani at bat. He's just standing there waiting for it to be. Everybody was waiting for it to be over, but the video, they already did it. I think people got confused or didn't know about that, so that's why there was no tribute video for Shohei. But talking about the game, Logan O'Hoppe had a home run to start it off in the bottom of the second, but man, Shohei Otani had an RBI triple in the top of the third to tie it at 1. Mookie Betts had a single to make it 2-1 that brought home Shohei. Bottom of the fifth, Taylor Ward had his 20th home run to make it 2-2, and it stayed like that for a long time. I mean, no offense was going on until the top of the 10th. Your dreaded, ghost runner rule. But
Mhm.
Miguel Rojas singled in Tommy Edman and make it 3-2. And then the dreaded, pass to Shohei got another runner on. And then Mookie Betts, as he always does, clutches up. He had the 3-run home run to make it 6-2, and that was the final. And it was so unfortunate, but you saw it coming. And I know how frustrated you, and especially me, but you are whenever you lose to the Dodgers. And, I think they have a winning streak or had a winning streak going against the Angels where it just seems like here or up in LA, they can never, never, ever beat them. But the pitching that day, was pretty good. You got to talk about Reed Detmers, making his first start since late May, or was it June 1st in
I think it
Seattle?
was
He
the
had
first week. Yeah.
a horrible start, and then he was sent down to AAA. Things were not looking good at the farm, but I guess he grooved back into form. But he went 6 innings, only gave up 3 hits and 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Now that's the Detmers that you really, really want to see. But overall, Contreras gave up the winning run, or the losing runs, I should say, for the Angels. What did you think about that Tuesday game?
I thought it was a fantastic 9-inning game. I was disappointed. I was disappointing the fact that our hitting past that home run just gave up. They were simplified. They were ready just to hit home runs. That entire series, they were looking just to hit home runs, and it was sad because if they had put together, or actually, I'm sorry, that whole game. Game 2 was different. We'll talk about that. But game 1, I felt like they fell in love with a home run, the big swings. Everyone had, ripped swings, and once they got into that Dodger bullpen, which is pretty good in the back end, they held. The Angels had really no chance. And the next time the Angels do good with the new, ghost runner rules will be the first time they do it good because they don't know how to play pitch or whatever. Because I want to know what Ron. And again, we don't have the what is it called, the media to ask him or to put him on blast to say, why'd you put Ronzi in that spot? It was the same thing that happened last week when they put Ronzi in a closing situation when you have Ben Joyce sitting there well rested. And again, the excuse was too, hey, he's pitched 3. This will be 3 out of the last 4 days. It's like, you guys were off on Monday. So you had a day rest. I don't want to hear that he pitched the night before. He could have came out and pitched no problem. And he only threw 10 pitches in that game.
Yikes.
and he lit up the Dodgers. I mean, I think he struck out the side. So you could have thrown him out there in the 10th inning. I think that would have been beneficial to see if he could hold the Dodgers to either one run or no runs. But once they got that run, and then like you said, they walked Ohtani and Contreras. I mean, it's not like Mookie Betts is a terrible player. It's another good guy that if he was healthy, I'm sure he'd have over 20 home runs right now. And he blasted one, and it just sucked to lose a game that you played so good, with the exception of the offense. But I'll take that back. They pitched really, really good.
Yes.
Like I said, Reed Detmers, 10 strikeouts. The bullpen was lights out. Cajeda was on fire. You
Mm-hmm.
had Joyce on fire. That was playing up to the competition. I think the hitting let us down in that game, and then just the poor management of going with Contreras. I got to ask you this, James. Who would you have thrown other than Contreras in that 10th inning if you couldn't throw Joyce?
And I'm trying to see if Strickland was already. Yeah, Strickland. No. I would have had Strickland. He wasn't used. I would have. I would have gone with experience. So I
There
would
you
have
go.
gone Strickland. But I guess you're just testing people. You're throwing, like you mentioned earlier, throwing people into the fire, see what they can do. And I know people were thinking, and I was hearing Eric Carroll's all game long talking about how the Angels and their fans are treating this like their World Series. I mean, it was a total, crap show because they had the game on MLB Network nationally, except where you were, of course. But I wish they showed Wednesday instead of Tuesday's game. But I had the Dodger broadcast, and all game long, man, when I got home, they were just talking about how, like, oh, this is the Angels World Series. This means so much to them for the Dodgers. This is just, 2 games that they just need to win, but they don't really need it. It was crap like that all game long. It was just, I used to love Eric Karros, and hearing him say all that was like, oh,
Yeah,
scum.
he is scum. I think the whole organization, like, they take shots, and they don't like to admit it, but they do. They take shots, and that's fine. Just I hope we get our day to go back at them
Mm-hmm.
again, because we used to talk crap about them too. So turnaround's fair game, but hopefully one day it's ours. But I will say this, James, about that game. What pissed me off too, the fact that we're over here showing our, saying it's a sellout when it's most of the other fans that are
Oh yeah.
selling out our stadium. I thought that was disgusting. And, you know, Ronzi and freaking Marte are the same guy to me.
Yeah.
And I really feel that, if you want to do Ronzi in a spot where we're playing Texas, or we're playing Las Vegas, or we're playing Colorado, or the Twins even, right? Go for it. Go for it. You want to test somebody out in the 10th inning? Go for it. I just felt that this for the fans means more. And if we were able to hold them right there, who knows? Maybe we actually tie it up in the bottom of the 10th inning. Because remember, we had a runner at third with nobody out and still couldn't score them. But who knows? Maybe it's different if we hold them to one run, or they don't get a run at all. I mean, we hate to admit it as Angel fans having so many losing seasons, but this is our World Series. And this one stings more, dude. And I would have loved to see Ron play this game like a postseason game. If maybe go against the grain and throw Joyce out there for a second inning. It's not like we haven't done it this season. We've seen Joyce pitch in 2 innings. So, I mean, why not? Let's really try to win this game.
That was another thing on the Dodger broadcast. They marveled at the 100.5 pitch that he threw to get the third out in that 9th inning. So I think for just entertainment purposes, they would have liked him going out there. The other thing, too, I just thought of when I mentioned Hunter Strickland. All those years he was with the Giants. Maybe Dave Roberts knew Strickland, so that's why Ron Washington said maybe he knows Strickland, so that's why we'll go with Contreras. But and I hate this, but I know you're putting more blame on Washington, and you can kind of see it with the moves he's made as of late, and I can see it too Like, I'm not going to be biased or whatever, say, hey, that's my GD manager or whatever. But it's like, yeah, he's making all these decisions. Maybe they're coming from the top, computer department, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some of these aren't working out. Even I'll admit it. It's like maybe he just has his hands full and he's just throwing people out there just for experience, but not for wins. Speaking of that, we'll go to Wednesday's game. Oh, one more quick thing on Detmers. He retired the last 11 Dodgers and he threw 100 pitches. So that was really good to see him finish a game. I mean, that was really good to see.
Very good quality start.
Hell yeah. Wednesday, the Angels won 10-1. I wish they showed this game nationally, but I think somebody else was on at that time or something. But Griffin Canning got the win. His amazing record goes to 5-12 on the season. Jeez.
If he's an NFL team, he's drafting in the top 5. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Bobby Miller, we have to thank him. I mean, he was out there like, Griffin Canning was. His line was 5 innings. It's a miracle that he lasted 5, but I think he went out there just to eat innings after a while. 5 hits and 7 earned runs given up. And that was 7 by, I think, the 4th inning?
Mm-hmm.
No, by the 5th inning. 5th inning. Yeah, 3 walks and 8 strikeouts eventually. But, at least you got to give it to Griffin Canning. He went, almost 7 innings. Yeah, 6 2/3. 4 hits, only 1 run surrendered, 4 walks, but 7 strikeouts. So much better to see him. But Bobby Miller, man, he's been struggling pretty much all year long. Last year, he had a tremendous record with the Dodgers. This year, he's 2-4, just not really showing up. The summary went as scoring. Rendon had that single to make it 2-0 in the first.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom of the first. Moniak had the home run, that 3-run shot to make it 5-0. You're like, what? Bottom of the second, Nico Cavedes had his second home run of his career to make it 6-0, and then Taylor Ward had his 21st home run to make it 7-0. Adele had a single to make it 8-1. Ward had a single to make it 9-1. Neto had his RBI single to make it 10-1. Some notes: Logan O'Hoppe, his home run on Tuesday. It was his 18th as a catcher this season. It's the most since Mike Napoli since 2008 with 20 home runs. That's been it. Iannetta didn't even get to 20, and you would have thought he would have. But in that time, Iannetta, Carlos Perez, Jonathan LaCroix, whoever you wanted to throw in there, couldn't get to 20. Another note about Wednesday's game, though, Shohei Ohtani went 0-4, and I think he went 1-7 in the series. So it was good to at least get him taken care of from the triple he had on Tuesday's game. There's a little get back with that, I guess. When I saw him walking back to the dugout, you could see some Angel fans being real happy amongst all that blue. I mean, it was too much blue. But yeah, the Angels won, so they split the series. The record with the Dodgers and Angels, I think it's 75-73 Angels all time since 1997. Correct. So that's a good thing to see. That Wednesday game, that must have felt like a relief doing that post-game show after.
Oh, it was. It just, for me, it's like, they're falling. The announcing was terrible the entire series, and they just went on and on about the home runs. I felt, obviously it got us the lead, this and that, but I think, need I say, I hate saying it, but Rendon's 2-run hit was clutch. I loved seeing that. I actually enjoyed more of not the solo blast and all the other BS. I enjoyed the 3-run homer by Moniak and the Adele hit to drive in a run, the Neto one, like you said. When they were moving guys on the bases, I thought, man, this is great. This is what they should be doing. They had the right approach all game, and they stuck with it, and they got better as the game went along. And that's not typically what the Angels do. And I warned the fans in the post game. I said, man, I go, this looks all fine and dandy tonight, but I'm smelling a 2 or 3 run performance tomorrow. And I was off.
Yeah.
I expected too much. So it's difficult because you can see what this team can do when they're dialed in. And I just felt like, and that night, the analytics weren't playing as big of a role as they normally do. And it just looked like the guys were more relaxed, and not tonight.
Yeah, that was great to see just on that game. Taylor Ward had his best hit streak, career best, 14 games, extended that. It was the longest in the American League until uh, tonight, which he was, I think, yeah, 0 for 3 officially. Um, he did homer his last 3 games, or 3 straight games. Had an extra base hit in 5 consecutive games, 4 runs in 5 games. Moniak had his 5th home run in 7 games. Those were all Bally's stats, by the way. They just love the home runs. They'll shove all these stats at you, and that's what I jotted down. The Angels went to Texas, first game out of 4. They got the loss tonight, 3-1. Bradford got the win. Kohanowitz, he didn't look like himself. I mean, he had the last 4 starts were quality starts. His record goes to 2-4. Kirby Yates got the save.
He still gets a quality start though for the 6 innings. I mean, he still put in the numbers.
Yeah, that's true. 3 runs or less. That's true.
Yeah,
he did settle down after a while. Yeah, after the first inning. Well, I was watching football mostly. I had the Angel game in the background. But yeah, it seems like other from Neto, the offense didn't really get going. Neto had 3 hits, Drury had 1, but a lot of 4 Angels struck out twice. It just seemed like that was the issue. What was the scoring, by the way? Adolis Garcia had a 3-run home run. That was basically it for the game.
Yeah, it was
what you talked about just now with the offense having the highest of highs and now the lowest of lows.
Yeah, they had 1 run tonight. They had 1 run, 3 hits all the way to the 7th. They worked a walk and got a single. And they had the first 2 men on. And I was telling my dad, I said, this is it right here. This is the game. And basically you hate saying that, but it was because you had an opportunity where you have LeBlanc up there and you're thinking, okay, this is 99% chance this is going to be a bunt to put the tying runner at second base. Common sense tells you that. Sabermetrics says, a guy has a 125 average, swing away. And dude struck out, and then Theis promptly hit into a double play. It ruined the entire inning, and it's like I said on the post game, it was a punch in the gut because the 8th inning came around, and you still got 6 outs. But this team, when it comes to getting punched in the gut, they are spineless. They don't have the wherewithal to pick themselves off the ground and start another rally, try to get things going. There's not a leader in that clubhouse to kind of give a speech or trying to do a butt slap and be like, let's go, or something like anything. And then you couple that with sabermetrics and analytics. And then in the 8th inning was strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. 9th inning, strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. Game over. 6 consecutive to end the game.
Yikes. That's just embarrassing. And I know Texas, I think Seager's probably going to be down for the year, but he's out for the 15-day IL. But
you mean the greatest hitter of all time?
The one that Joe Madden walked with the bases loaded in 2022 and made Mike Trout do the whole head thing.
I would, a competent GM would have fired him after that game.
And seriously. I always remember Mark Langston. I was listening to the game in San Diego. They were like, "This isn't winning baseball." I'm like, Dude, no one has had the nuts to say that.
Mm-hmm.
That was so amazing. So Friday night start, Jerson Garbito will get the start for Texas. He's 0-1 this year, 11 games pitched, and then Samuel Aldajiri will get the start, his second start of the season, or of his career, I should say. That's a 5:05 start Friday, tomorrow, or today if you're listening. Tyler Anderson will get the start Saturday. He's 10-12, and Jack Leader is 0-2 this year. He keeps getting called back and forth, but he was a high prospect for the Rangers, and Maybe he'll get right against this Angel lineup. Who knows? But
I'd
yeah,
bet on it.
yeah. That's why I mentioned that. If you need a get right team, I hope that's not the White Sox against the Angels. That's coming up in 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks from now. White Sox Angels.
Home and
I
away series right away, dude. Like
I
I think we play them 6 times in 9 days, something like
It
that.
is, yeah. Sunday, you mentioned Caden Dana will start. He's of course 1-0. Andrew Heaney, the former Angel, pitching like a former Angel this year. At least his record is. Not having the Cinderella year of last year. He's 4-13 this year with a 3.81 ERA. That's more like it. If you talk
Yeah.
about Andrew Heaney, hopefully Caden Dana, he'll feel like the energy again and really go after these hitters. But you gotta be careful against the Texas lineup. For me, and we always do this, me and Malou, but we'll see how the series goes, or the rest of it, I should say. But I'm hoping the Angels get the split this series. What do you think will end up being the result?
I think we lose 3 out of 4. Yeah, because I don't trust the offense, and I'm not going to crap on the pitching. I'm not going to say, oh, Tyler Anderson's going to be the problem, or Dana's going to be the problem, or Al Jazeera is going to be the problem. I don't. Even if they were, I'd still blame the offense because I've not. They have given me nothing this year, and I just feel that the pitching will do its job. I have full faith in the bullpen and the starters to at least go 5. So I think they'll give the offense plenty of opportunities. It's just, will the offense come through it all? And judging by tonight, not really good. And they haven't played really good, James, in Texas since that new stadium's been
No,
built. They really haven't. They've been flat. So I expect that to continue.
I still remember the 2020 season with Joe Odell coming up and he had the ball go off his glove and over the fence, and he'll be
Mhm.
out there. He's of course there and out there in right field this series, and I just wonder, since he's been improving this year with the fielding, hopefully that's blocked out. But it's hard to go back to the scene of a crime or something like that and not think about it. This game is mental. Some news and notes, just really quick, but we're talking about an injury, and unfortunately it's Grill Masters guy, prospect, of course, eighth overall pick by the Angels in this year's draft, Christian Moore. He's been evaluated in Birmingham, Alabama, for a knee injury, his left one. He suffered a left meniscus injury. He'll be treated carefully before ramping up baseball activity. He'll remain with Rocket City and attempt to work his way back to playing before the regular season ends. For me, this screams shut him down. There's no damn reason for him to even try to play the rest of this season. You come back to spring training and you take second base, right? Are you in the same way of thinking, you think?
100%, James. 100%. I think it's the right thing to do. I think what they did with Soriano, just do the same thing. Shut him down. Nothing to play for. You've already seen the potential in Rocket City. You know he's going to blow through AAA if you were to put him there. So let's get him right. Let's get that thing healed up. No further damage, no scar tissue, and get him super strong. Have him a nice, good, healthy workout. And like you said, go in there spring training with a chip on your shoulder. And I'm pretty sure, like you said, the Angels will be like, hey, second base is yours if you want it. Show us how much you want it. And I think he's the type of guy with that moxie and that great personality. And with the 5 tools I think that he possibly has, he might just walk in there, like you said, and take it. So I'm gonna side with you, James. Side on the air of caution and shut him down.
I'm just worried. I guess it's from past experiences, but it's like, man, I hope he doesn't have a lingering injury issue where it just derails his career. But
Yeah.
that's just me being Mr. Doom and Gloom.
Well,
Quickly, yeah, go ahead.
you have every right to do that because of what are the Angels' history of injuries. But I just think that this could be a PR move too by the Angels organizations, because remember Trout was like, "Oh, I'm coming back," and then all of a sudden
Yeah,
he's shut down, and that's 2 years in a row. So maybe the fact that, hey, we don't want you to forget about Moore down here. Keep checking in on Moore. Keep hitting the website, that kind of thing.
That's how they get us, or get me at least. But I mentioned Taylor Ward earlier, and really quick, we could, talk about his September. Just again, he had the career best hitting streak of 14 games. He homered in 3 consecutive games and had an extra base hit in 5 consecutive games and 4 home runs in 5 games. And all that being said, um, what do you think is the keys to his success this month? And do you think it was a mental thing? I know you think it's maybe not wanting to being traded.
Yeah, that was originally Rob's idea. He said
Oh,
that
Rob, yeah.
he had a real terrible stretch before the right when his name started to be floating out there, he couldn't hit for a damn. Um, yeah, I've been down on him all year because I've said it in other shows. This was his year to shine with Otani gone, with Rendon being Rendon, and Trout always hitting the IL. Take over. Take over, be the guy, lead the youngsters, have the most RBIs, have the most home runs. Keep your, I had never seen this dude as a 300 hitter, but, I expected him to be 250 and above, maybe 260, and anchor that. If you're going to put him in a 3-4 spot, act like a 3-4 spot hitter. And he hasn't. The only thing he's tried to do is hit too many home runs. He's racked up like 150 already. He won't quite make 200, but he'll be at 160, 170. It sucks because that's not his game. And you see potential with him, but he still swings at sliders out, down and away. He still gets fooled on fastballs down the middle, and especially ones that are head high. I don't know why he thinks he could drill the ball that's that high. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, Gooby went nuts the other night when he hit a home run to right field because it was like almost eye level. And I'm like, well, a blind squirrel can find a nut once out of 10. And I think that's his way of thinking is, well, I'll eventually connect with one. I think he has some bad mechanics, and I'm not high on him. I wouldn't bat an eye if he was traded. Or let go. I really don't like him in the future. I don't think he's a kind of hitter that I'd want my youth of the club to be trying to emulate. He had his chance here. He's been with the Angels for a long time, but I'd like to see him move on. And long story short, James, I think what it comes down to is the pressure's off. The spotlight's off the Angels, and he can go back to playing in front of half empty stadiums in September when football starts, and late August when people are paying attention to college football, preseason football, and start whacking the ball when it doesn't matter. I don't want a player like that. I don't want a guy who's incredibly streaky for 1 week and then cold for 2 weeks in between. I want a consistent ball player, and he's not it for me.
Yeah, there was just things that I think I've seen where he just chases his curveballs outside, or like you mentioned, the sweeper. Oh, yeah. He just chases those too much. And that good guy Renee mentions how far and in the corner he'll stand away from the plate. And I don't think I've ever seen that before, but it's just funny how nobody's really mentioned that in the clubhouse with him, and nobody's worked with him to be, just in the middle or in the back. You can still be in the back of the box, but be in the middle at least, and at least can foul some of those sweepers away or go the other way. It's rare. He never goes the other way, I should say. So I don't know if he'll ever get to that point, or it's just the comfortability thing where it's like, hey, I just want to be here and I just want to swing for launch angle, and that's how it is. He's here 2 more seasons and then he'll be a free agent. And yeah, that's why I mentioned that. It's like, man, I wish they would have traded him. I know Pittsburgh was interested in him, and like you mentioned, it seemed right away he just started to slump.
And I'll say this, James,
and all that interest went away. Will go away. So yeah,
I'll say this real quick, James. I think that
go ahead.
Two things are bad. If Griffin Canning is your number 5 starter next year, and we're still having to put Ward in the 3-4 hole, it's going to be a very long season. Idealistically, if we're going to keep Ward for some reason, keep him in the outfield, for me, I'd like to have him bat 7th or 8th. I don't want to see him higher than that.
I could see that, because I was going to mention earlier where We've seen him lead off. We've seen him be second, 1 through 5. But he's never really been lower. Maybe when he first came up, he was lower. But, because Calhoun was there with Trout and whomever else. But he's never been lower in the lineup where he doesn't have that pressure on him, so to speak. So that's a good thing to say. And then I was thinking about, everybody was talking about an outfielder the Angels could get is a former Padre. Well, he's been everywhere. Tommy Pham. And I'm trying to remember. He was a White Sox this year. I think he was traded to the Cardinals. The Cardinals just released him, and now he's on the Royals. But he just seems like a journeyman outfitter that the Angels wouldn't have to spend too much on. So maybe they will go after him. We'll save that for the off-season show. But I saw him the other day. I'm thinking, you know what? That fits right into the cheap, arty way of spending on players. So I think that would be a perfect fit. Don't forget, go to our sponsors, Noble Ale Works, 714 Tickets, Mezzo Calzones, and Bet Online, and all the discounts you'll get with all of those. Thank you, Todd, for being an honorary James here on James Squared, episode 28. Any final thoughts?
I want to be proven wrong. I hope that they have a better series against Texas, and I want them to I want the hitters. I want Ohapi to finish out the year strong. My thing is just progression, and let's see what these pitchers can do. And that's all I got. Just hoping that these guys can, they don't necessarily have to rack up the wins. I just want to see good performances and try to see this team gel and these players hit milestones and get better. That's what I'm looking for.
I want to see smarter at bats, and I think we all do. Somewhere we can hey, there's an idea when you come up to the plate that you know what to do, or we're going to do it our way. We're not just going to bow down to the pitcher and just, if he leaves one out there, we'll hit it. No, we'll go after, what he's giving. So hopefully that'll be the case. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks for everybody for watching, and please like and subscribe. Halos in the Infield. Thank you for watching the 28th episode of James Squared. Take care, folks.